It's a sad situation. Shannon Sharpe is somebody I work with a couple of days a week. Shannon Sharpe is somebody that I brought to ESPN. To be clear, even though this podcast, this YouTube show is owned and operated by me solely, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be dismissive of ESPN, who employs me in my daytime job on First Aid. So I sit here before you today letting you know that they are aware that this is a subject that I was going to broach, because I owe them that courtesy. I am the executive producer of First Take on ESPN. I recruited Shannon. I went and got him and brought him to ESPN.
You sharing text messages, that's just sharing too much. We didn't want to hear about nobody getting hogtied in your bedroom and your salad getting tossed while you wearing a collar. It's too much.
But I'm not the boss. Those are other folks. There are layers to this, and there are certain layers even I am not on. I can tell you, I also spoke to co-chairman of Disney, the boss, Jimmy Pitaro, who made it very, very clear we are taking this matter very seriously, and we are looking into this very, very closely. In my perfect world, he moves on. And somehow, some way, we find this all to be false. But it doesn't seem like that's the way things are about to go down, considering who Mr. Busby is and how emphatic his client is proclaiming that she is right and she's telling the truth. I have no idea what direction ESPN and Walt Disney will go in when it comes to this matter. All I do know is it won't be me making the decision. It'll be others upstairs. In the end, all of us have someone to answer to. No matter how maverick we try to be, and we own our own business, and we're our sole proprietors like I am on this platform and stuff like that. There are advertisers, there are sponsors, there are people you do business with, there are partners, and there are bosses. That's the situation, unfortunately, that Shannon Sharpe.
Big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is.
Stephen A. Smith is having a moment right now because word just dropped that Shannon Sharpe has been booted from ESPN. And insiders are saying not only is he out for good, but he may already be blacklisted from the network entirely. This comes after at least 3 more women stepped forward with shocking accusations, piling onto an already messy situation. But if Shannon was hoping for public support, he's not getting much. In fact, a lot of fans are saying this is just karma catching up with him, and it's long overdue. This whole scandal is turning into one of the wildest, most disturbing situations the sports world has seen in a while. In case you missed it, Shannon was wrapped up with an OnlyFans model, a girl young enough to be his granddaughter, playing sugar daddy and thinking he was in control. But turns out, she had him wrapped around her finger. And it wasn't just about the money. The receipts exposed disturbing race play fantasies, audio clips, and texts where Shannon said he wanted to choke her. And not in private either, but out in public. Once all that came to light, Shannon's reputation took a nosedive. Then came reports that he tried to pay her off, millions allegedly, to keep her quiet before things blew up. But the girl played the long game, and now all his dirty laundry is in the spotlight. Instead of sympathy, Shannon is getting clowned, especially by Stephen A. Smith, who, despite pretending to show concern, is clearly reveling in the chaos. Even comedians like Cat Williams and Monique reportedly tried to warn Shannon about messing with young women looking for clout. But he didn't listen. And now, he's out millions, out of a job, and out of whatever respect he had left. Meanwhile, Stephen A. is sitting back, probably grinning ear to ear. Sure, he gave a public statement saying he feels bad for Shannon, but the way he talked about it sounded more like a eulogy than support. And honestly, this whole story just keeps getting crazier. So yes, Shannon just lost his ESPN deal, and it's not looking like he's coming back anytime soon. If you're unfamiliar, ESPN isn't some random cable channel. It's majority owned by Disney, the same Disney that prides itself on family values, a squeaky clean image, and protecting its brand at all costs. So when this scandal broke, involving lawsuits, texts, and disturbing race play claims, Disney moved fast. Real fast. Sure, ESPN has weathered plenty of scandals before, but this was a different level. A lawsuit involving a 19-year-old sex worker? Race play? No amount of PR spin was going to save this. Shannon might have thought he could bury it, but when you're bringing that kind of heat, it's game over, especially when the parent company is Disney. On April 24th, Shannon put out a statement saying he was stepping away from ESPN for a bit and that he planned to return for the NFL preseason. But sources inside the network say that's not the full story. According to them, Shannon didn't leave voluntarily. He was shown the door. ESPN apparently let him save face publicly, but behind closed doors, they had already made up their mind. And now word is Shannon's name is being scrubbed from the network altogether. They don't want anything to do with him moving forward. Then Stephen A. Smith chimed in again. As the face of First Take and one of ESPN's top producers, he made another statement about Shannon's situation. He acted like he was upset about what happened, but also kept bringing up how serious Disney is about its image, and how once you're labeled a risk, there's no coming back. Stephen also threw in a subtle jab, suggesting Shannon releasing those messages from the OnlyFans girl was the final straw. That once Disney saw what was in those texts, it was a wrap. No coming back from that. Stephen A. Smith didn't hold back when talking about Shannon Sharpe's downfall, and while he didn't mention him by name, it was obvious who he was talking about. He threw some serious shade, calling out people who act invincible, move recklessly, and think they're untouchable. And in Shannon's case, that's exactly what happened. He got caught slipping, lost his career, his image, and probably any shot at rebuilding, all because he couldn't control himself. Stephen tried to make it sound like his comments were general, but let's be real. Every single thing he said lined up with Shannon's situation perfectly. That's why so many fans are saying they feel zero sympathy. Shannon's been in the game long enough to know how it works, and he still played himself. All that talk he used to give about wisdom from his grandma, he clearly wasn't taking her advice. And it's not just his grandma who tried to steer him right. Let's not forget when Cat Williams sat down with Shannon on Club Shay Shay and flat out warned him about dating white women, specifically saying it could backfire in major ways. Turns out Cat was more right than he knew. Based on the timeline from the lawsuit, Shannon was already wrapped up with that OnlyFans model when that interview was recorded. And soon after that went viral, Monique also joined Shannon on his show and tried to get through to him. She told him straight up, settle down with someone age-appropriate and stop playing with these huge age gaps. But Shannon wasn't trying to hear it. He thought he was in control, and now he's lost nearly everything. What's wild is that there's a viral clip of Shannon joking that he'd go to hell for $50 million. And guess what? His accuser, Gabriela Zuniga, is suing him for that exact amount. It's almost like she took that challenge personally. But this whole thing isn't just about the age gap. It's the darker stuff, the role-play details, the allegations, and the receipts that Shannon himself released that really crossed a line. Gabriela's lawsuit claims Shannon requested specific racially charged fantasies, and insiders are saying he was the one pushing for those degrading scenarios. Gabriella, by all accounts, was a paid escort, and while some of the texts she sent Shannon were bizarre and over the top, fans are pointing out that it was likely all part of the deal, stuff she was saying because that's what he was paying her for. Like when she sent texts about wanting to put her tongue in places we won't mention here. People are saying it's clear she wasn't actually into Shannon. She was just doing what he wanted. But notice something. Shannon only released her messages, none of his own. That's raising eyebrows, and people are putting the pieces together. A lot of fans believe Gabriella said those extreme things because Shannon was the one who led with that kind of energy. The fact that he left out his own replies makes it even more suspicious. Now, whether the relationship between Shannon and Gabriella started as consensual or took a dark turn later, that's for the courts to figure out. But one thing is clear. Shannon's not coming out of this looking good. Especially after Gabriella's lawyer, Tony Busby, released that audio clip where Shannon's heard threatening to choke her, and even says he'd do it in public. The whole conversation is unsettling. It almost sounds like twisted role play, but at the same time, Gabriella seems to be baiting Shannon into saying things she could use later. And he walked right into it. Whether she set him up or not, Shannon gave her the ammunition. And now, at nearly 60 years old, he's getting exposed by someone young enough to be his granddaughter. It's a brutal lesson in what happens when self-control goes out the window. What's even messier is Shannon trying to flip the narrative, playing the victim card, saying he's being unfairly targeted as a successful black man. He even compared himself to Jay-Z and suggested that Busby only goes after rich black men. But people online aren't buying it. They're dragging Shannon for trying to claim racial targeting when he literally paid a white woman to engage in degrading race-based fantasies. How can you cry foul about being stereotyped while participating in the exact kind of behavior that feeds into those stereotypes? Fans are calling out the hypocrisy loud and clear. And then there's the part where Shannon claimed Busby planned to leak more footage that would reinforce harmful ideas about black men. And while that may be true, the damage is already done. People are saying Shannon walked into that trap himself. The community Shannon's trying to appeal to isn't rallying behind him. They're posting memes, making jokes, and pointing out that this isn't even the first time Shannon's done something questionable. So those text messages he dropped to defend himself, they backfired, badly. At this point, the court of public opinion has made its decision, and it's not in Shannon's favor. Now it's your turn to weigh in. What do you think about this whole situation? Is Shannon really the victim here? Or did he bring this chaos on himself? And what about ESPN cutting ties? Did Disney make the right move? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't miss what we've got coming in the next video.